Hello random people on the internet, my name's Banana, and you've seen so many videos telling you how to prepare for dungeons, what you should be doing right now to grind up, but in this video, I'm actually just going to talk about some builds that you can use for dungeons, and I'm actually going to go over 3 specific classes, if that's what you would call them, for going into dungeons. This is only going to be stuff for right now before the update, what you can get. I don't know what they're going to change when dungeons come out. I don't know what kind of items they're going to add, so these could completely become irrelevant within 5 minutes of the update being released. But until then, I think that this is going to be a pretty good guide as to what kind of gear you're going to want to go into dungeons, depending on how you want to play the game. So, the Mage, the person who spellcasts all the time. I've basically made a whole video on this sort of build, but it basically goes around Wise Armor. Wise Armor is going to probably be the best set ability-wise, just because of the intelligence that you get off of them. You should reforge it to Wise. I don't have mine Wise because I haven't put the money into it, but you should get it Wise so you can have maximum mana, and then you're going to want, for sure, 100% the sheep pet, because this pet is based, it's the only pet that has a dungeon perk on it. Increase your total mana by 25% while in dungeons is the dungeon wizard perk. So you're definitely going to want a high level legendary sheep pet if you're going to be using abilities in dungeons, because it's going to help a lot. Just like if you look at this right now, I can go use my Aspect of the End. It's only going to cost me 26 mana. It's really good. So you're going to want to run something like this. And then I'm also going to recommend that you get things like the Wand of Restoration for yourself, just to heal yourself over and over, because that mana cost of 100 is going to be 53 or something like that. So it's going to be really cheap for you to heal a lot, and you're going to have a lot of mana to do that. So this build's going to be really good, and it can also, depending on how ability damage works, because right now, ability damage, if you look at intelligence, it's supposed to up your magic damage based on your intelligence. Right now, just in my Wise Armor that isn't reforged, except for one piece, it is giving me plus 600% magic damage. So that's based off your mana pool, so it's actually going to be better for damage-wise, at least, if you're going to wear your crystal armor all the time, because if I jump in this fire here for maximum light, I'm going to end up getting a lot more intelligence. If we go back here, I have 1390% of my magic damage, which is insane. It's definitely going to be really good. If I can do 10 times the damage that I would do with a magic weapon, it's definitely going to be the play to run something with more mana, but it purely is going to depend on how aggroing works and how tank builds are sort of going to work, because this build is not very tanky. If I'm running Wise Crystal, it's not going to keep me alive all the time. Well, something like a Wise Armor would do a lot better based on its 160 defense compared to the 28 defense I currently have on here. So, yeah, this build is just going to be based on spamming abilities. You're going to want anything where you can spam abilities. You're going to want your classics. Reaper Falchion's going to help you when it comes to getting more mana with its 200 intel. You're going to want a ornate zombie sword, which I have over here in this chest. You can see it's probably going to be rich, but I think they're changing some of the reforges for weapons. That's going to make it different for mana-based stuff. But you're going to just want stuff where you can spam abilities, because this is going to purely be based on your magic damage, your magic abilities. And yeah, that's going to be the Mage. Now I'm going to talk about tanking. So optimally for tanking, you're going to want tier 12 perfect, and you're also going to want the Reaper Mask. And the Reaper Mask is going to be the quintessential piece of this build, just because of its double healing from all sources. It's the best thing that gives you this double healing, because currently there's nothing else in the game that gives you this much defense and gives you this much health while also giving you that double healing, because healing is going to be the biggest piece of the puzzle when it comes to tanking things out, because I think that you'll be able to survive pretty much anything if you're wearing 3/4 perfect, like if you're wearing the chest piece, leggings, and boots. And then if you aren't able to survive it, you're wearing that Reaper Mask and you will heal up really quickly. Now, I would originally I would have told you that you should run Wise on all of this, but with the new Reforge changes coming out, the heavy Reforge is going to be very good for tanking specifically. Now, I still don't know how it's going to work in dungeons. If you are the only person getting aggroed, if you are the only person, because you are the tank, you are just getting attacked over and over, then you're probably going to want heavy. But if lifesteal still is as good as it currently is when it comes to its tanking abilities, because lifesteal is the best way to tank literally anything. Just hitting things will do a lot. Heavy might not be the play just because it lowers your crit damage, and Titanic I know does not, but Titanic gives health, and Perfect does not give health. It's purely based on defense, so I say full send on that. Like, you're going to want Growth 6, Prot 6 if you can, but you're definitely going to want Tier 12 Perfect. You're definitely going to need the Reaper Mask. And since you're using a Reaper Mask, I can personally recommend the Reaper Scythe for tanking. Just going to go look at mine real quick. It's tucked away safely down here. So the Reaper Scythe is going to be really good for healing purposes because this heals you every time your zombies hit as well. So they'll be hitting 5 times as more than you, 10 times as more as you, if you're able to get them out on the map with your perfect armor on. If you're able to just have 10 of them out because you have the Reaper Mask, you're going to be getting a lot more healing from any boss that's just in your face. So tanking is definitely going to be something that's necessary in dungeons. It's going to be one of the tougher and more expensive builds to fill, but if you do get a tank build going, then I'm sure that a lot of people will invite you, even if your damage isn't that good beforehand. Like, people who can't do the next build that I'm going to talk about, which is just like heavy, intense damage, you're definitely going to want to go with tank, because in every game you always need a tank, but tanks are heavily underrepresented and no one wants to play them. So that is the tank build. Oh, I forgot to talk about the pet. For the pet in the tank build, you're obviously going to want the turtle pet. I don't have mine on me, my co-op mate has it right now, but it has the unflippable passive, which makes it so you don't take knockback, so you will be an immovable object, and you will also gain a percentage of your defense. I think it's like 20% or something just absurd, because it's a lot of defense, and when you're wearing perfect, you already have like 1400 defense, so you're going to be getting 280 more just based off that. So definitely run the turtle pet, run perfect, run a Reaper Mask, and Scythe is going to be good, Overflux is going to be good, obviously, and I mean, you should go for every talisman, but for sure, when you're running that sort of build, run the Survivor Cube, because it gives you the 5% more healing, and then also run the Healing Ring because of the 10% more healing. You basically just want to get healing, and you also want to be a tanky big boy. So yeah, now we're moving on to damage. So the damage build is going to be one that pretty much everyone is going to try, but almost no one is fully optimized when it comes to their damage. There's only a couple people, like Pixel Club is pretty much fully optimized, but a lot of people are going to run this. I'm going to try and run a damage build when I go into dungeons, because I think damage is going to still be very important, but it's going to be the most expensive build, the toughest build to get, because it's based around the legendary dragon. This pet is insanely overpowered. This pet gives you 50 strength at max level, 50 crit damage, and 10 crit chance. It also gives you the one with the dragon perk, and the one with the dragon makes it so your aspect of the dragons is actually the best sword in the game. So you're going to want a maxed out aspect of the dragons then. And not only do you still need that, you want this pet to be level 100 because of the superior perk. Increase all stats by 10% at max level. 10% of your stats is insane. So I'm potted right now, I believe. Let me just make sure that I'm potted. I am potted currently. So if we look at my stats, I have 546 strength with no weapon out. If I take out my weapon, I'm clocking in at 715 strength in my superior armor. I also have 708% crit damage. So that's 715 and 708. If I put away my pet, I'm going to go down to... Oh, wait, I got to keep the sword out. I'm going to go down to 595 and 613. So I went down like 90% crit damage, and I also went down 100 plus strength. That's insane. This pet is OP. Like, look at my health, 1699 right now, and then it's gonna go up to 1835, and this pet doesn't even give health. Like, it doesn't have that as a base stat. This pet is going to make anyone who wants to do damage do an insane amount. So that increase is really good, your stat increase. And then you run superior armor, which is still probably going to be the best armor to go in with. All your stats are increased by 5%, and the aspect of the dragon's ability deals 50% more damage. Now the aspect of the dragon's ability thing, it doesn't matter, but the stat increase once again will stack with the Ender Dragon stat increase. And then when they add the Renowned Reforged that they teased, you're going to get 4% more of your stats if you're running Superior. And that's just going to be so much stats that you aren't going to be able to handle it. And then for damage, obviously, you're going to want to get your combat as high as possible. I'm combat 40 right now. I need to get mine up at least like 5 more levels before I'm even going to try to go to dungeons. And then you need to get your foraging up. I'm foraging 45. I'm number 26 on the server for foraging. Foraging is a skill that not many people have touched, but it gives an insane amount of damage. You need to actually grind the hell out of foraging if you want to be the max damaging person. Like, I may not be higher combat than most people, but if someone's combat 50 and foraging 20, I destroy them in dragons, just because I have foraging 45. So you're going to want both of these as close to 50 as you can get them to be. And then, once again, I keep talking about how I have no idea how tanking is going to work, because if they want to make tanking relevant, they have to make it so it aggroes the person specifically, or no one is going to be able to run a tank. And if they make it so it's only going to aggro the one person, it's only going to chase after one dude, you're actually going to want to go here and buy an Elegant Tuxedo. An Elegant Tuxedo, as long as you are safe from being attacked, as long as there's a tank that's doing like taking all the force that everything is being like, everything's thrown at you, the Elegant Tuxedo is going to be your best bet for damage, but it reduces your max health to 250. It adds so much damage to you though that it's going to be insane to pass it up if you have a way of being safe. Like if you had some sort of remnant thing in dungeons, or if tanks just bring every single mob towards them, then the Elegant Tuxedo is going to be your best bet for damage. But if it's not like that, then you're going to want to run Superior. If you're going to just try and do a hybrid build, Superior is probably still going to be the play to run, because Superior is just that good of an armor set. It's going to be the best armor set to go into dungeons with, but I don't think it'll be the best coming out of dungeons. And yeah, I think that's it. You're going to want to run your Aspect of the Dragons. Going to want a Runan's Bow going in, or a Mosquito, but I would say Runan's, just because Mosquito is a lot harder to get, and I mean, you're just going to want to optimize yourself. That's the thing about damage. There's so many people that are going to want to do damage builds, so many combat 50s. There's like 210 people that are combat 50, and that's an insane amount of people to be maxed out in a skill. So everyone's going to want to run this build, so it's going to be tough for anyone who's like new to the game and wants to run something very damage based. So I definitely recommend trying out one of the other two builds that I talked about, and then just like getting the dragon pet is going to be the toughest part of running the build here, because I mean, I can do a damage test for you guys just to show you how OP it is. I'm going to use a different sword than Aspect of the Dragons, because that'd just be absurd compared to like something else. So if I Reaper Falchion over here and I hit a zombie, I hit for 213k. That's with my pet out. And if I switch to no pet, I hit for 154k. I lose 60,000 damage by putting my pet away. So this pet is absurdly OP. This pet is something that is going to carry you through dungeons, and it's definitely the reason that damage builds are going to be so good, unless they nerf the dragon pet to the ground, which I can't see them doing, because people have spent so much money getting it, so much time put in to getting a dragon pet. I can't see them nerfing it to a point where it's not good, so I definitely recommend that everyone gets it. So that's going to be the 3 builds that I recommend going in with. It's going to be like a Wise Armor build, a Perfect Armor with a Reaper Mask, and a Superior Armor build. If you're going in with anything less than like Superior, and you're planning on doing really good in dungeons, I definitely think that you should try and go for like a Wizard build. The Wizard build is going to be something that will probably be really good if they fix magic damage, if they add new magic damage items, if they just do stuff like that. Like, doing the Wizard build will not only get you a high level pet, it'll get you a spot in a team just based off of you having a good different type of build that isn't just physical hit them with sword damage, but it's also going to level up your alchemy when you're leveling it. Like, I got my alchemy to 50 when I was doing my pet. So if you don't want to do Superior, if you don't think it's worth going for something like a dragon pet, I don't think that you should be trying to run a damage build, because there's just going to be so many other players that will get in a party before you. But it really depends what stage of the game you're at. Like, you look at how many dragon pets are up right now. There's 2 up, and I know that there was a lot more. So basically, just run those pets that I talked about. Turtle, dragon, sheep, they're all going to be really good. There's going to be a lot of different builds that are good in dungeons. These are just the 3 that I think are going to be the sickest. So if this did help you at all, definitely smash that like button, maybe even subscribe. Thank you to my members down below. You guys should definitely press that join button, become a member too. And yeah, that's going to be all for today. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.